guys, welcome back to Daily Devotions with Destiny. It is April the 29th. It is Tuesday. Honestly, it feels like it should be Friday. I feel like this has been a long week and it's only the second day. But we are almost through the month. We've literally got one more day left. And then we are in May, and then a lot of schools will be going out. So I know everybody's excited about that. I know I am. So yeah. Let's go ahead and get started with our read. Today is April the 29th. Today, you will be tempted to buy into the delusion that you're smarter than God, that your way is better than His. It is one of the functional contradictions of sin. Even though sin somehow, some way reduces us all to fools, at the very same time, it also convinces us that we are smarter than God. While we name ourselves as wise, we look at things that God does or things that He calls us to do as utterly foolish. How many people have said, "How could you ever worship a God who blank?" How many people have wondered, if God really loved me, why would He blank? How many people have said, "I don't see what's so wrong with the little blank"? How many have asked, "Is blank really that bad?" We really do have the ability to convince ourselves that we know what's best and that we really don't need wisdom greater than our own. I am convinced that most of us do this far more often than we think. We minimize the danger of what God calls dangerous. We question the need for the boundaries that God has set for us. And in the face of our own sin, we argue that it's not so bad after all. Every day, in some situation or relationship, we are tempted to think that we are smarter than God. Without the rescue of God's grace, we are all wise fools, heading for danger we simply don't see. So we eat more than we should while denying the physical, empirical evidence of our foolishness. We spend ourselves into hopeless debt and are surprised when we can no longer pay our bills. We live selfishly and judgmentally in relationships and then wonder why so much tension and distance exists between us. That's why Paul says, "For the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men." That comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 25. Paul is saying that if it were possible for God to be foolish, His most foolish moment would be infinitely wiser than our wisest moment. How humbling. So where are you tempted to tell yourself that you're wiser than God? Where do you argue that your plan for you is better than His? Where do you lay out the logic to yourself that it makes sense to step over one of His boundaries? Where are you tempted to name sin as something less than sin? Where do you tell yourself that you don't really need grace? What do you call wise that God says is foolish, or foolish that God says is wise? Where do you, like Adam and Eve, accept the illogic that there may be a better way in life than God's way? Where do you take life into your own hands so that you can have it your way? Confess the utter foolishness of ever thinking that you're smarter than God and run to His wisdom. Pray once more that the one who is the definition of what is wise would by grace make you wise. That is, a person who loves God's wisdom more than you love your own. For further study and encouragement, read Job chapter 40. Wow. Those are some really good questions to kind of end this on for today. A lot to think about. Take notes if you need to. Write it all out. Give it to God. But thank you guys for being here with me today. I love you so much, and Jesus loves you so much, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.